Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all having a really good day today. So today's video is going to be about learning how to strengthen your intuition or to heighten it and just make it stronger so you are able to make decisions more quickly. So, just kind of like a summary of me and like my intuition and how that's come to develop. My whole life, I was always interested in spirituality. And I just grew up in a very open-minded family where we would just talk about anything. I always felt like I was picking up on a lot because of my anxiety, but I didn't know what it was. Like my body was just kind of processing it as anxiety and panic attacks. But I, I've heard in readings from psychics and mediums, and I've just felt that I was truly, like, my whole childhood and teen years, I was picking up on a lot and just picking up on other people's emotions, stuff. But I didn't know it, and I didn't know how to ground myself and all that stuff. But I would say the last 2 years, my intuition has strengthened a lot because when I had my huge health scare, spiritual awakening, I was kind of cured by a holistic medical medium type person. So that definitely, I do believe that that also happened for a reason, but that definitely like made me just think there has to be more to life than just the 9 to 5 job and like Western medicine, and just there has to just be more. There's something bigger out there than us. And being healed, by this holistic kind of like medical medium person, it blew my mind away because he was so spot on about what was wrong with me, and his herbal regimen that I followed for like 6 months completely fixed me. And then that just blew my mind. And so that kind of sparked, and that was almost 3 years ago, and that kind of sparked my journey of exploring spirituality and, going to yoga classes, meditating more, hiking more, reading books, podcasts, watching shows just about spirituality, life after death, kind of just these universal law of attraction, manifesting type books. So I wanted to give my top 5 tips for any of you guys who really want to strengthen your intuition, because we all have one. It's not like some like special superpower that only a few people get to have. It's like we all have an intuition, and to tap into it, it's just like tuning into a new radio station that you've never listened to before. It's like we all, whether you want to call that a gut feeling, a hunch, we've all had experiences where someone was like, hey, come to this party, hey, you should hang out with me, something, and you just have that pit in your stomach, like just that unexplainable feeling, and you're like, I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't go there. I shouldn't hang out with that person, but I don't know why. Like, it's just that unshakable just feeling, and you may not even have like written explanations about it, but you just know that you shouldn't go. And it can be frustrating because you're like, well, but this is silly. Like, I don't have proof and I don't know what's really going to happen. But I can probably guarantee you, for me at least, every single time I have gone against my intuition, I've always been like it was just right, and I should have trusted it all along. Especially with guys, dating, and just anything, business, money, friends, where I should be living. Your intuition can help guide you with everything. There's no like, oh, I have to turn my intuition off and I have to be logical now because I want to talk about like business or money. Your intuition can help guide you with anything, and it's always going to lead you to the best thing. There's no like, oh, well, I have to use like the logical side of my brain versus like the kind of creative, intuitive side. I use my intuition for everything, and it always is going to bring me to whatever is best for me. So I made a little list, and these are 5 things. They're super easy to do. They've helped me just kind of strengthen my intuition, and now I've gotten to the point where I can just, and for me, I believe, and I'm sure that there are many definitions out there, and you can Google and, look up other psychic, medium, energy workers, and they'll tell you different things, but I believe that your intuition is your higher self, and it's just or your guides, your angels, and it's just pushing you in the right direction. And of course, you still have free will, you know, you're still a human, you can still choose whether or not you do something, but when you get those intuitive feelings of, I feel like I should do that, I feel like I should go there, whatever, just go with those, because those are always pointing you, and you have to be open-minded too. That's the thing that I've learned is you may not know why you're being led to a certain area to hang out with a person. You're like, well, why should I do that? Okay, I'll just go with my gut feeling. Because I've done that so many times where I'm like, I really don't know why my gut feeling wants me to go here, hang out with this person, text this person, but I'm gonna do it. And, you know, it may take like hours, days, weeks, hopefully not months or years, but it may take a little bit of time for you to be like, oh, okay, got it, because that person actually knew someone who is, you know, gonna help me with my business, or just some weird, crazy connection. So it's important to stay open-minded and to let go of how you want things to come to you, because you know, things are going to come to you in the best way for you, but sometimes with our ego, we're like, no, I want this to happen this way because this is going to, like, you just have to let go of that and be open-minded to how things are going to come to you, the things that you have manifested and wanted. So, this list, it's super easy. It's just things that I've learned over the past 2 years that have worked for me. So first one is meditating. And at first, when I first started meditating 2 years ago, I would get so frustrated. I would just be sitting on a mat, like with like the fingers like this, and I would just be like, okay, like I'm not relaxed, because my mind naturally overthinking, like just so 1,000 thoughts per second. I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. But I've learned that meditating for me is hiking in nature with music, like headphones in. It doesn't have to be sitting on a mat in silence. Like, I meditate when I drive. That sounds crazy because sometimes I'll drive somewhere and I don't even really remember driving, but it's like you're when your mind just kind of just wanders and you just think about things and all that stuff. It's just that nice time that you have with yourself. And I can do it hiking, you know, with eyes open and I'm walking around. But for some people, it is sitting in silence. And I've learned that I truly enjoy that right when I wake up and before I go to bed. That's when I really like sitting in silence and being with myself and just letting everything else that's not mine, you know, drift away, other people's energies that I've come into contact with that day, other stuff I watched, saw, absorbed. That's the time when I do really like sitting in silence. And I will go on YouTube and YouTube like a sound bowl, or just like a nice like flute music, kind of calming. I really love like crystal sound bowls. It's the best sound ever. I mean, going in person is so cool because it just feels like the whole room. It's amazing, but YouTube has some great ones. And so yeah, so meditating and learn what works for you, because everyone is different. Some people truly enjoy sitting in complete silence on a mat. Other people, they like hiking, they like being in nature, they like going to the beach, they like a little bit of like kind of background noise, waves crashing, you know, the sunshine, nature chirping, birds chirping, you know, whatever. So find what works for you and don't get frustrated with yourself if you're like, gosh, my thoughts, because when you get that, like that frustration, that's kind of makes it worse. So it's like if you have to like train your mind. If you feel your mind wandering, you just have to bring it back to yourself. Some people like to focus on their breath. Some people, you know, like to just focus on a certain spot, like their third eye, or just kind of holding their hands in like a certain way. So just, you know, just find what works for you and don't get frustrated. It definitely takes like a while to get like really good at just like calming your mind down. And I'm still learning, you know, just as everyone is, I'm still learning that, you know, certain guided meditations on YouTube don't work for me. I don't really enjoy yoga that much for a workout. Like I do it, you know, when I really need to just calm down, but I don't really like it as like a workout. So, you know, learn what works for you. So that's my first one, meditating. And it's just, that is when you really are connecting to yourself and you're letting go of everything else that you've picked up on throughout the day, stuff that doesn't matter, and you're just with yourself and your thoughts. And the more you do it, the more that you're going to strengthen that intuitive reflex. If someone's like, hi, do you want to do this? Or you get an email and you're like, oh my God, this new business venture. And you are going to get really good at being able to see like, oh my gosh, okay, so should I do, nope, okay. Your higher self, just that like, should I do this? Should I not? That will get stronger the more that you sit with yourself and your thoughts and you truly get to know who you are as a person. And that's just the best thing for life. It's such a nice feeling knowing that you always know the answers and you always know what's best for you and you can strengthen it as much as you want any time of the day. You always have the choice. So my second one is just trusting your intuition. That's how you build that relationship. You know, just anytime you feel like you should intuitively do something, go with it and see what happens. Because then you are going to actually like have that evidence and be like, okay, I trusted it when I didn't really know what was going to happen. And then this great thing happened. And I stayed open-minded and I just kind of let go of expectations and I just did it. And then this great thing happened. So just trusting it and seeing how it comes to be and then being like, wow, that was actually awesome. And there's no point in worrying and stressing and trying to control and just being afraid to let go and just all that stuff. Your intuition and the universe, has your back and they're always going to guide you, but we are still humans. I believe that we are a soul having a human experience, so we still have, egos and just our human bodies and all that stuff, so that's important to remember. But yeah, the more you trust it, the stronger it's going to get, and the more you're going to realize that there's no point in fighting what you intuitively feel is right, because that's just the best thing for you. And when you go against it, I've learned now recently, now at this point in my life, if I go against my intuition, I feel so uncomfortable. Like I just physically feel off and I feel anxious and weird. And I've used this metaphor like 1,000 times before, but it's my favorite. It's like when you're driving on a road and you're in your lane, that's like life. You're going through life, you're doing what you love. And then say you get into the wrong relationship, the wrong job, you move to the wrong place, you do anything that's against your intuition. It's like those little bumps on the side of the road where, if people fall asleep while driving or something and they drift off out of the lane, they hit those and it's like, and it like wakes them up and they go back into the lane. That's like when you go against your intuition and you hit those little bumps, it feels off and you're like, whoa, it's like in a little alarm alert system. That's what your body is trying to tell you. And you may get frustrated because you're like, why do I feel so much anxiety, pit in my stomach, just off. You just feel off and you know it. Like, when something doesn't feel well, even if you're very spiritual or not, because we all have that, just like, I don't even know what to call it, just when something's off, you just know in the core of your body, in your mind, in your soul, you just know it. So just trust your intuition. The third thing is just, surround yourself with as much information as you can about intuition and whatever else you want to learn about spirituality, maybe like chakras, manifesting, law of attraction, because spirituality is just such a wide, broad thing. There's so many different topics and opinions about it, and there's psychics and mediums and energy healers and crystals, and I'm probably forgetting some, but there's just so much stuff out there to learn about. And there's, different huge like leaders in the world like Marianne Williamson and people like Tony Robbins and famous psychic mediums and all those people who are leading the way for change, because I believe that the world is headed towards a place of higher consciousness where people are just, their minds are changing and what used to work is no longer working. And I think we're all coming to that conclusion, and we're just going towards a place where, our minds are just going to change, and that's going to change that. And that's going to change the way that we think and the way that we work and all that stuff. And I'm really excited for that. But yeah, so just, that was my third thing is just surround yourself with as much info as possible. Go to classes. There are so many classes now out there, like yoga classes, meditation classes. You can get readings done. Definitely, though, if you're going to get a reading done, make sure it's by someone who's legit, because I'm sure there are a lot of scammers out there. You know, maybe get recommended by a friend, do some research, get some reviews on the person so you know that they're real. But yeah, I mean, I've had incredible readings done by mediums, psychics, energy healers, and thankfully they've all been really wonderful, genuine people, so I've had very positive experiences. But definitely be careful because, you know, there are the scammers out there who, not the best intentions. So just read books. If you guys want any book suggestions, I have so many books. I literally have like 5 stacks over there. Just comment below if you need any names of books that I've really loved and that have helped me and kind of guided me in the process of spiritually opening up and opening up to your intuition. Books, TV shows, movies, blogs, YouTube videos. That's one great thing that I love about social media these days is there's just endless, YouTubers and people doing blogs about spirituality and intuition, and it's really cool to see just everyone's different stories of how they've opened up to their abilities, or now that they're living the best life possible because they are following their intuition and they've realized like, wow, why did I used to like ever go against it? So yeah, so surround yourself with all different types of stuff because that will just influence you more and get you more excited for it, and you'll start, when I first started kind of becoming spiritual and into intuition, all that stuff, I kind of would play, not a game, but I would kind of like do this thing where I would ask the universe for a sign, and I would be very specific about the sign. I'd be like, I want a really like random out of place object, like a it's important to be very specific. Like, I want it before 5 p.m. tonight in this location, and just ask the universe for signs and they will give it to you. And that's the kind of thing that I would do when I first started becoming spiritual. Is I would ask the universe for signs, then I'd get it and I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So yeah, and then number 4 is make time for self-care and make time for things that make you feel connected to yourself, because that is when you are connecting to your higher self. And everyone has a higher self. That is your intuition, because it's always guiding you to where your like dreams can be achieved and where you're meant to be. So things that make you feel connected to yourself. For me, that is hiking, being in nature, helping other people, volunteering, just taking care of myself, speaking in front of others. That's, oh my gosh. And that's another thing is like, whatever your passion is in life and you just feel that spark and you feel so like alive and you're just like, oh my God, like you know it. You're like, this is it. This is what I want to do with my life. That's when you're connecting to your higher self, because you feel that, like you feel that spark and you're like, yes, like this is what I want to do. And you get so excited. Do stuff like that, because honestly, it's like, life is so short, and what's the point of doing a job or something if you're not happy? There's no point. And when you find that spark and you find your passion, hold on to it and just never let it go, because that's like who you are, and just that's like who you are as a core, and that is like the purest connection that you have to yourself, and where you feel the most alive, and where you just feel in your power and you're like, this is what I want to do. And yeah, of course, make time for self-care, get enough sleep, eat healthy, exercise, hang out with, really good people, genuine friends, make time for things that make you happy, getting your nails done, shopping, massages, acupuncture, whatever you want to do. So yeah, I hope that helps you guys. If any of you are curious, or you're just kind of thinking that there's more to life than what you have going on in your life right now, and you just want to open up spiritually, or you're interested in your intuition, or you just want to do something more fulfilling with your life, if you guys have any questions, please comment below. I love interacting with you guys, and I want to know about your lives and where you guys are right now in your lives and in your spiritual journeys. I think it's fun to talk about, and I know for me, every day I'm opening up more and I'm learning more about who I am and how spiritual I truly am, and how that is a huge part of my identity in my life. And I have to make time every day. Sometimes I don't want to put in the work and I want to be, lazy. Like, I'm not in the mood, I'm tired, whatever. I feel stressed out. But my days are so different, and I have to put in the work to make myself feel better and to feel more grounded. So, I have to meditate like 4 times a day sometimes, right when I wake up. 2 little, 3-minute ones in the afternoon just to bring myself back to who I am, and then one before I go to bed. I have to limit my time on TV and social media because I'm just sensitive to what I'm absorbing. And I'm sure a lot of you guys out there too, who are on spiritual journeys or you're opening up to your intuition. A lot of people are empaths and they're just sensitive to other people's energies and their environment, and they pick up on it and they absorb it and they take it on as their own. And that can result in anxiety. I think that's what I had when I was younger, but it was just, I thought it was just, clinical anxiety. I never thought that there was like a spiritual reason for it. So yeah, make time for your passions and what makes you just feel really good and connected to yourself and calm. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, please comment below. I remember when I first started opening up spiritually, some of my friends that I had at that time just kind of made fun of me for it, and they just didn't really get it. And they were just like, well, that's weird, all this stuff. And they'd kind of talk bad about it. And I just didn't know who else to talk about it at the time. And I was really excited because I'm like, you guys, like, I just get these cool, like, intuitive feelings, and then I follow them, and like these cool things happen. And, they weren't really on the same page. So, if you guys have that where you just don't really feel like you have a support group to talk to, I'm here, and I won't judge because we're all on journeys, and, we're all just trying to find our passions in life. So I hope you guys have a really good day, and I will see you next week. And please remember, if you are feeling intuitively pulled to do something, just do it. Don't question it. Don't think of excuses, or don't think, oh, I need a logical reason before I do this. Just trust yourself, trust your intuition, because that is trying to pull you to the best possible thing for you. And it can be scary, but like, it's just, you just have to trust it, because your intuition is a good thing. And sometimes your intuition may be pulling you towards something, and that thing doesn't really work out in the best way possible, and you kind of get mad and you're like, well, I trusted my intuition and nothing really happened. But your intuition is like a journey with you, and it's going to take you through certain things, but it's always going to lead you to the best possible thing, even if that may be, having to end a relationship with a guy that you really like, but it's not really a healthy relationship for you, or toxic friendships. And of course, you're going to go through the pain, but it's going to get better. So I will see you guys next week. Have an amazing week, and remember, your dreams are out there, and the things that you want in life, you want them for a reason, and they can be yours. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.